So on the YouTube channel, I saw a video on how to clean brass plates for military cemetery markers. My dad has one. I've got a couple of uncles that have them. So this plate is actually a plate that was pulled up. A new one was installed. This one will actually go back to the VA to be destroyed. But before we do that, I wanted to see how well I could clean it by the video. So I made a paste made up of 1 cup of white distilled vinegar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I mixed it together until the salt dissolved, and then I poured some flour in here, made a paste, as you can see. I stirred the flour in until it got consistent to like peanut butter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this on with a paintbrush, one of these right here, about a 2-inch brush, and I'm going to let it dry for 2 hours. And then I'm going to clean it off and see how it works. So as you can see, I'm very liberal with it. Put it all on there. Kind of looks like pancake batter. It's about the consistency of a thick pancake batter, as you can see. I apologize for moving the camera around real fast, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the entire batch that I made, and I'm going to just coat it real good and let it set for a couple of hours, and then I'll clean it off with soap, dishwashing liquid, and detergent, along with some good water, and then I'll let it dry real good. My next move after cleaning it will be to set it up and paint it with some brown leather dye. The best is dark brown. I'm going to use RIT brand. It's supposed to be arriving here in the mail in the next day or so. So I'll get it took care of. But there it is. Got a lot of paste on it. I'm going to let it set up for 2 hours and let it dry, and then take care of it afterwards. We'll be back. Well, we're back, and it's been about 2 hours that this paste has been sitting on the plate. As you can see, try to close up a little bit here, the patina finish and the old has kind of came out of it. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to clean it off real good, wipe it down with paper towels or newspaper. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to use these paper towels. I'm going to wipe it down real good, and then I'm going to brush it off again with some dish soap and water and let it dry, and then it should be ready for me to go ahead and put the brown dye stain on it and do a little sanding work on the letters to bring the brass out. We'll be back soon. Okay, as you can see, I've removed all the paste that had sat on it for 2 hours, and you can see all that was just rinsed off with water, and it already looks twice as good as what it looked like in the past. The letters, and the numbers, and the trim work has come back to a nice polished looking brass, where looks like it's been sanded, and all I did was just rinse it off. I am going to put a little bit of a 200 grit sandpaper to get a little bit of a shine back on the letters. That has been sitting in the weather at the cemetery since 2005. So 2005 to 2024. Looks like a world of difference right there, and all I did was put the paste on it. I am going to touch it up with some sandpaper, and I'm also going to look to stain it with the brown dye. We'll be back again. Okay, we're back, and here we are a little more than 24 hours later. This is the plaque that I began cleaning. As you can see, it turned out pretty good just with the paste mix that I had, and then of course soap and water. It brought the luster right back. But today we're going to try to perfect it by using some dark brown leather dye. I'll try to zoom in on that, let you see. All right. And of course, with any type of dye, you want to make sure that you use proper covering. So we're going to start this and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to use a small brush. Okay, get it there. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover. As you can see, I've masked it off a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and get it going real good. And then what we'll do is I'll cut the video off and return once it's covered. Okay, as you can see, I have put a full coat on the plaque, and I'm going to go ahead and finish up. Add a little bit more around the letters. Again, what I will do is once this dries to where it's no longer sticky or tacky, once it completely dries, then what I'll do is I'll take some 20 grit sandpaper and I will go over the top of all the raised lettering, numbers, and then we should be finished. I want to give the brass a real good shine. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a second coat of this brown Angelus dye, Angelus brand dye, on the marker. And then we'll look at the finished product when I'm done. All right, we've got a second coat of stain on. As you can see, like any other type of stain or dye, the material that you're putting it on, it just soaks it right up. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry for several hours. We'll come back and check on it. And then what I'll do again is put a little sandpaper to the raised letters. And hopefully this thing will look brand new. So let's be back in a few hours. Well, I'm back, and for the final segment of this cleaning and restoration of my dad's foot marker that I took up from the cemetery and refurbishing it. I'm using some 220 grit sandpaper to remove some of the dye that was on the lettering. And of course, as you can see, it doesn't take a lot of effort to do that, to put the shine back on it and take the old stain off. All you got to do is just, well, I use it like a guitar pick, and I'm just removing it little by little from the raised lettering. Like I say, I just use it like a guitar pick, and in cleaning it off, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to finish this off. We've got a few more things we have to do here, and I'll get it wiped down, blowed out, and we'll see how it works. I'll be back in the next few minutes and show you the finished product. Thanks for watching. So here's the finished product after it was cleaned, restained, the letters sanded down with 200 grit sandpaper, brought it back to life. That was 19 years of summer and winter, lawnmowers going over the top of it, and just age. So we brought that back to life, and it looks good.